Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. This is a little different video than what you're used to seeing or hearing on this channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about COPPA. And I'm not talking about the base or semi-precious metal with a similar sounding name that also sounds like this. I'm talking about the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act of 1998. Let's explore. Yes, this is all the rage. You probably have seen or read about some of this, and I have too. There's a lot of language in the new Terms of Service that will be adapted by YouTube on the 10th of December, 2019. And in fact, when I go to the Terms of Service, I don't see anything in here about COPPA. But this is something that has scared a lot of content creators out there. And even if you are not a content creator, this could have an effect on you in so much as to what you are able to see or come across your news feeds or what have you, or the channels that you may enjoy could be affected or fined or removed from YouTube altogether. There's a lot of stuff in here that supposedly they were written to make it easier to really understand, but really it's easy to gloss over this and have your eyes glaze over by some of this information here. There's a lot of legalese here, the terms of services for this. Most of us content creators kind of brush through, but really we're at the mercy of YouTube. And that's always been the case, and that has not and shall not change. It's just there's another entity involved as well, and that is the federal government. So if you think things are bad under a certain company that some of us think potentially there's an agenda tied to it, wait till the government gets involved. And that's exactly what's happening here. But, I searched these terms of services and I could not find COPPA. But that is, in fact, what will be implemented. And, of course, I looked here at the policy section. And there's a lot of different things about all sorts of different things in here that certainly their bots and their algorithms, they have bots and they're legal bots. They're bots that go through and peruse through our channels to find out if there's anything like this in here that's going to cause any issue or any problems with regards to spam, copyright, harassment, cyberbullying, hateful content, violent, graphic content, harmful and dangerous content, nudity or sexual content. Any of this stuff will be found out, and if we even come to skirt any of those issues whatsoever, we'll be limited on to what advertisers can be showcased, and that will have an effect on revenue. And they're very strict on that stuff. My videos get flagged every day for it. And I'm losing some revenue because of that. But that is their prerogative to do that. But nonetheless, this new thing is the COPPA. And this is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule that was formed in 1998, and they have amended it back in January 1st of 2013, and there is a lot of stuff with regards to this for children's online privacy protection, specifically with YouTube, and they felt that YouTube was circumventing it, so they came out with this settlement. As part of this, all the channels will have had to designate whether or not their videos are COPPA compliant, to state whether or not these videos are, meant for kids or not. So you can have a video that has certain content. There's a lot of these kids channels that do toys and the like, and have their kids in the video. Some of these parents that have these channels with their kids that are in the video, and those are some very popular channels out there, by the way. They make a lot of money by unboxing toys and doing toy reviews and the like and all that. But what does this have to do with us here in this community? And that is the crux of the matter, because most of us were thinking, well, we do coins, we do precious metals, but that should not have anything to do with us. Well, if you look at what their channel owners, the FTC has a website and a blog here where they actually, this is very recent, where they actually answer some of these questions. And here's the vagueness of it. I've watched other videos on this too. The rules set out additional factors the FTC will consider in determining whether your content is child-related is the subject matter, the visual content, the use of animated characters or child-oriented activities and incentives, the kind of music or other audio content, the age of models, the presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children, language or other characteristics of the site, whether advertising that promotes or appears in the site is directed to children, or competent and reliable empirical evidence about the age of the audience. Now, that's very vague. In fact, I've seen it elsewhere. Some other video was showing what looked like to be a YouTube page that had some of this language in it, which is still slightly different than this. But the thing is that that's very vague. And there's a lot of different things in terms of the subject matter, the visual content. I know certain creators here who have done very clever opening sequences or intros or outros that look like they could appeal to kids, with related to video games or whatnot. But it is, related to, collecting. And their channels are about coins, precious metals, and the like. And so, is that going to be flagged for something? And there's also fear that if this does happen, according to this Variety article here, YouTube will be requiring all creators, regardless of location and whether or not they produce content intended for children, to designate whether their videos are made for kids. And many YouTubers are concerned that the new rule will hurt their monetization or even expose them to fines if their content is mislabeled. The change is a result of this $170 million settlement with the FTC and the New York Attorney General for alleged violations of COPPA, which prohibits internet companies from collecting data from kids 13 and under, and YouTube was accused of violating that law. So YouTube is putting an onus on creators to comply with COPPA. If you fail to set your audience accurately, you may face compliance issues with the FTC or other authorities, and we may take action on your YouTube account, according to YouTube's Help Center document on the subject. Creators are subject for potential fines, running afoul of COPPA. According to the FTC, the law allows for civil penalties of up to $42,530 per violation. That's over a kilo of gold, or about a kilo of gold, according to the agency. However, the FTC considers a number of factors in determining the appropriate amount. All that being said is something that has got a lot of creators very scared. Now, what does that mean for us here in this community? Most of us will probably mark ours, and I know I have, not for kids, because if you do it for kids, that means you're not going to get the access to playlists, live and notifications, a lot of demonetization. There's a lot of benefits that will go away for the content creator. So we should be fine, correct? Not so. If you don't mark your videos for kids and you have content in there that could be appealing to kids based off of what we looked at before, that could be a real problem. And so it's like, here it says here, the kid video designation will apparently make them unsearchable, so you won't be able to search a video. So it will be a problem. And the FTC did a press conference talking about this, and that they're going to go after. They're going to be looking for content because it's right there. And essentially, the YouTube platform is the barrel, and we, the content creators, are the fish, and they're going to be shooting at us in this. So it's a little bit scary, for sure, as to how this will be implemented, because when you look into it and take into account when we're reviewing coins like this on our channels and talking about them, these are obviously geared towards kids, but adult collectors may accumulate these. And in fact, if you look at this one here, these are very popular bullion, semi-precious coin collecting out of precious metals here, silver. And if you look at these superheroes, you can guess which one of these is very much R-rated. Indeed. So this one here in the center, that would not be COPPA compliant. No way, shape, or form. And so, in other words, if you see a kid that wants to, finds, a review of a Spider-Man coin or a Thor coin or Star Wars or anything related to anything that's would be remotely interested in kids, and you say a swear word on there, or you promote something or have something in there that will kind of go against COPPA, and you mark it not for kids, and it's collecting data on the viewer, bam, you could be at risk. And here's another one. Disney Rapunzel. There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different stuff we talk about here in the precious metals community that may not be in compliance with COPPA. Because we're going to market videos as not for kids, not only because we really feel like it's not, at least under 13 years of age, but in another sense, we kind of do want some kids to be interested in coins. I mean, shoot, look at this. This could be quite appealing. Now, obviously, it is gold, so, a kid to get that, they're going to have to fork over some bucks, but nonetheless, some of these other coins, base metals or whatever that we may talk about here, are we going to have to mark all those videos as for kids for those videos that talk about these coins and then miss out on that revenue or what have you, or potentially be fined if we don't mark it correctly? Because, there's going to be some kids that are over 13 years of age that might be interested in things like this. Certainly there are kids over 13 years of age that be interested in these kinds of coins. So what does that mean for us here in the community? I don't know. The language is still so vague, and these policies, digging down, learn more, to all this stuff, a lot of it is kind of common sense, but, when you look at the vagueness of some of this stuff, and you look at what's here on the COPPA site, it says, let's take a look at what this paragraph says from the FTC's blog. How does COPPA apply to channel owners who upload their content to YouTube or another third-party platform? COPPA applies in the same way it would if the channel owner had its own website or app. If a channel owner uploads content to a platform like YouTube, the channel might meet the definition of a website or online service covered by COPPA, depending on the nature of the content and the information collected. If the content is directed to children, and if the channel owner or someone on its behalf, for example, an ad network, collects personal information from viewers of that content, for example, through a persistent identifier that tracks a user to serve internet-based ad, the channel is covered by COPPA. Once COPPA applies, the operator must provide notice, obtain variable parental consent, and meet COPPA's other requirements. For example, on how to comply with COPPA, please visit FTC's COPPA Pay or six-step compliance plan for your business. And I'm going to go into somewhat of a rabbit hole, not the Peter rabbit hole, because that's for kids, and not any other kind of hole. That's what she said. So let's see here. Determine if the company website collects personal information for kids under 13. Well, I'm telling you, if we're gonna be providing information, we don't know who our audience is going to be. We want kids to kind of see this stuff. My feeling is that this should be up to the parents. If the kids are under 13 years old and they're perusing YouTube, they can find a lot of different stuff from a variety of different subject matters. And this is just getting kind of ridiculous to put the onus on us to determine all this legalese and whether or not, if there's an ad running on one of my videos, by the way, that could be for investing in Bitcoin or for some other binary, there's a lot of different ads that run on, most of them related to marketing or, earning money with this program here or there, what have you, at least from what I've seen, when I tested. Are they collecting information on kids? I don't know. It's really kind of scary when you kind of look into this stuff. And I don't know what the answer is or how it's going to be done. This is not helping. All the different things, all these different steps here. Post a privacy policy. What is a privacy policy? We have to put this on all of our videos. Notify parents directly about your information practices before collecting personal information from your kids. So I have to know that your child is watching my videos. I'm going to have to get their personal information so I can contact their parents and tell them, hey, I mean, it's ridiculous. There's a lot of different stuff on here. This is just too overwhelming. Some members of the community have contacted me about this and asked me what my thoughts were, especially related to the precious metals community. Really, if you look at the context of our videos, we should not be fined or even charged with this stuff like that. But YouTube, for any reason, can delete our channels, and they've been able to do that before. They are a private company. If they're running scared about COPPA and they find anything that they think, without regards to context, but just because if let's say one of my videos goes bacterial, or a low viral infection, let's say, and it gets somewhat popular, and there's something in there that could be of questionable orientation to COPPA, but they don't really look at the context of it, well, they can just delete that video, or they could delete my channel. Of course, they've always been able to do that, and they've done it. We've seen it happen with some members of this community before, and of course in other places too. Others are really scared about this big fine, so they're taking preemptive action and just deleting their channels. Now, I'm probably not going to do that, but there's a lot of different things that the FTC, I think, should spend their time on, like spam phone calls and these robocalls that go out that are running amok. I get 8, 10, 12, 15 of them every day. You know it. Viewers of this channel know that I take advantage of that, and I record videos on it and record them and poke fun of them and waste their freaking time because our federal government isn't doing a darn thing about it. And this do not call list is a joke, but now they're doing this, and essentially this COPPA stuff is just it's crazy, and it's having everybody go nuts with here in the YouTube community. And it's going to hurt a lot of people whose income actually is reliant on YouTube and YouTube itself, and because YouTube is going to protect their bottom end, which means that we, the creators, are the fish, and we're going to be hurt by this because of what the federal government is doing. I liken this to what the Supreme Court did with the sales tax. Now, precious metals bullion companies around the world are having, or at least here in the United States, are collecting sales tax for these states because of the interpretation of that law. It's another example of a blanket CYA, cover your rear end, and hurting the marketplace for precious metals. Now look at this. This is another thing. And so if you're not a content creator, how this is going to affect you is some of your favorite channels out there may just disappear, and you may not have any reason why it'll happen. Now, it's probably unlikely to happen. I don't want to be a doom and gloomer, and my hope is that if enough people raise a fuss, that they will at least clarify and at least update these terms of service. There's nowhere here. Everything should be here. It should be spelled out very clearly, and as to what this is and how this is going to affect most creators out there. And they need to be reasonable about it, because as the way things are interpreted now, there's no safety net for us creators out there from the government. I'm not talking about YouTube, but in reality, it's in YouTube's best interest that the more people use their service as possible. So it's not in their best interest just to wholesale delete channels. But they have more incentive to do that now to cover their own rear end on this. So this is a serious thing. We'll see how this plays out. But nonetheless, we don't want to be walking on eggshells here as we talk about subject matter like this that could be appealing to kids. And on the other hand, we do want to appeal to kids to a point, because they're the next generation that's going to carry forth the torch of precious metals. I do have young viewers who watch my channel, and it's exciting to see young viewers join in to the conversation and be excited about silver and gold. And what better way to turn kids on than to have coins that are designed as such to appeal to them? There's the next generation. Do we have to walk on eggshells here? So there you have it. There's my take on it. There's other videos out there, and I don't know where this, there is some sort of petition where you can actually sign on and by December 9th to make your thoughts known. But I think before you do that, we have to really kind of understand what this is. I think the biggest thing we need to tell the FTC is to clarify their position, and specifically with regards to YouTube, because YouTube is the largest video platform out there, and this is going to hurt them as well as hurt us content creators. So there you have it. Find that petition. Find other videos that talk about this. There are other YouTube-specific channels out there that are talking about this, and I think those are the ones that you want to direct to. But I wanted to do one specific to the precious metals community here. And I do think this is important, and it's important that I get this information out so that we can discuss it, because it will have an effect even on the precious metals community as a whole here on YouTube. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching. If you know anything more about this or can clarify it, post it in the comment section below. If you have any questions or concerns or thoughts, post it in the comment section below. And I will encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.